Good evening, gentlemen. This is a response to a good friend of mine, Coach Rob. He did I think it was a houses, top five houses, but top fragrance or perfume from that house. I believe I'm getting it right. If not, I'm kind of screwing it up. But nevertheless, this is my response. I'll name my top five fragrance houses and my favorite fragrance from that house, and I'll also say why. I do have two honorable mentions. I won't show the fragrance. I'll just spill on it real quick because I don't want to make this that long. I'll just go right into it. My first honorable mention is Terre Mugler because of the whole Angel series, the Angel Man, Pure Malt, Pure Havana. They started to fall off a little bit with the Pure Shot. Well, some people said it was pretty good. And I liked Pure Leather. Some people didn't like it, but I really liked Pure Leather, and also Pure Coffee. So that's a pretty good house. So that was one reason why that was my one of my honorable mentions. Unfortunately, they just haven't really come out with anything after that, you know. So that's why they're an honorable mention. The next house is History's Parfums. They have my favorite one from that house is 1725 Casanova, but they have one Amber 114. They have Amber Amberim, something like that. They have 1740. They're just a really good house to check out. I'm still diving. I haven't really quite delved through their whole collection, but I'm still trying to make my way through that house. So that's another reason why that is also a honorable mention because I haven't really finished, thrusting through that house. All right, so I'm gonna just dive straight into it. These are my top five, my top five fragrance houses, and my favorite fragrance from each house. So number five is from the House of Chanel. Well, is the House of Chanel, and my favorite fragrance from that house is Chanel Allure Homme. This fragrance is near and dear to my heart. I think this is the first one that I smelled from this house, and well, from the series, shall I say. And I almost thought about selling this one recently or swapping it, but I put it on and I just fell in love with it all over again. Like, this is a really gorgeous fragrance. It's a really creamy fragrance. I would recommend this for anybody beginning or thinking about joining or making this a hobby, or just if you want to smell good in general, you want some compliments, you want to attract women, this is a great fragrance. Gentleman in a bottle. I've always said it. My number four house. My number four house. I really enjoy this house. It's kind of hard to really just it's kind of hard to really put all these in categories based on favorites or whatever because I really enjoy this house. However, I just enjoy the other houses a little bit more. But this is a really good house, and it is none other than the House of Creed. A lot of people praise and love Creed Aventus. They call it a masterpiece, and that's fine. That's great. Honestly, in my opinion, it just smells good. It's great if I'm wearing it to a barbecue, because I know it has a smoky factor, and if I'm around the barbecue pit or whatever, I know that fragrance will carry through the smoke because it has that smokiness factor in there. But it's really not my particular favorite. I really don't reach for it amongst my Creeds the most. My favorite one from the house is Creed Original Vetiver. This is like a really bitter green. I don't know. It smells clean. A really bitter green and clean smell. That's about as much as I can say about this fragrance without doing a full review. I'll do that later. All right, my number three house. My number three house is the House of Hermes. And the reason why I chose this house is because, I mean, they just have some heavy hitters. The Hermes Un Jardin sur le Toit, the Un Jardin Méditerranée. I think I screwed that name up. Un Jardin sur le Nil, and my personal favorite, Hermes Amber Narguil. So, my number three house, Hermes. Now, my number two and number one, they're kind of teeter-tottering. I was having the hardest time choosing between these two, but nevertheless, I finally made a decision. My number 2 house is from the house of Tom Ford. Well, is the house of Tom Ford. I just, when I think about houses overall, like that whole complete private blend line, uh, I don't really know too many of the private blend line that I personally didn't like, or that I can really think that other people really didn't like. I mean, Champaca Absolute, I loved. Amber Absolute, which they discontinued, was a classic. Neroli Portofino is a classic. Tobacco Vanilla is a classic. I mean, it's just Italian Cypress. The list could just go on and on and on. And they're well blended and they last a long time. My favorite from the Tom Ford house, other than Neroli Portofino, but this one beat that one out by a notch. And I mean just a little bit. There's none other than Tuscan Leather. With this one, you get leather and berries. I mean, I really don't know much else that I can really say. It's just, it smells damn good. This is a tuxedo cologne. So if you ever dressed up, you ever going to the symphony, the ballet, opera, whatever, and you got a tuxedo, or you just going to any grand ball, this is that kind of fragrance. Now, my number one house that I chose for recent actions that this house has done. And that house is the house of Christian Dior. And I chose this house just looking at it from a massive scale. You have Dior Fahrenheit, you have Dior Homme, which I really, really enjoy. Dior Homme Sport, a lot of people enjoy that one. Dior Homme Cologne, I don't care for that one. And here's the reason. The reason why I do not care for that one, because to me it's an identical clone of Chanel's Allure Edition Blanche. I already have Edition Blanche. I don't need a duplicate. And that one to me is an identical clone of it. So I don't really care for that one. However, Dior has a private line. And I mean, unless you've been hiding under a rock, I mean, everybody's hyped about it. It's been splits going on galore, crazy. I mean, you have to know about the private line. And that private line, to me, is it has solidified it as to why it's my number one house. And another reason why this is my number one house is for the star, the rock star, the masterpiece from that house, which is, you know, my favorite fragrance from the house, and that's none other than Bois d'Argent, or Bois d'Argent. This fragrance is my fastest compliment getter, my number one compliment getter. This fragrance will go down as a complete masterpiece. I'll always love this fragrance. I hope to never run out of this fragrance. This fragrance is, and this is no lie, I really honestly believe that this fragrance was handcrafted by God. Like, I really feel like that angels in heaven smell like this. This fragrance is that good. So that's, you know, and don't get me wrong, like, they do have some rock stars from the private line. But this one right here is near and dear to my heart. So that's my response, Coach Rob. I hope other people in the fragrance community partake in this, because I would like to see, you know, what everybody else's minds is thinking. And this was just a great idea. So you guys, let me know what you think. Comment down below. Talk to Coach Rob. You know, comment on his page. And without further ado, I just want to give a shout out to Phi Beta Sigma, Blue Phi. You know, Booyah Navy. Peace. Talk to you later, gents.